wondering about what you said earlier about checking the back door before you go to bed. Why do you think you do that?
Well, I need to check it's properly locked so that no one will break in.
And do you always check the back door yourself?
No, only if I'm the last one up.
And if Ben is the last one up, does he do it instead?
Yes, I prefer it if he does it.
And why is that?
Well, it's on him if he hadn't checked it properly and something happened.
And why is that better?
Well, it wouldn't be my fault. If I was the one to not check properly and something happened, it would be my fault and I would hate that.
How would that make you feel?
I'd feel really guilty.
So you're saying that if you checked the back door and didn't do it properly, you would feel at fault and you would feel guilty. But if Ben didn't do it properly, that would somehow be okay.
Yes, I know it's weird because if we were broken into, it would be awful, but somehow it would feel so much worse if it was my fault and I was responsible.
And do you have any fears about being responsible for other things or events?
Well, yes. Pretty much everything I worry about is because I'm worried about being responsible for something bad happening.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, yes, when I've been cooking, I need to make sure that I've turned the cooker off and the oven off because I don't want to be responsible for burning the house down. And when I'm doing the cooking, I need to check that the food's cooked loads of times because I don't want to be responsible for causing any kind of like food poisoning. And then I also wash my hands for the same reason. I don't want to contaminate any food.
So would you say that feeling responsible for harm to others links up most of your concerns?
Definitely. I hadn't really thought about it like this before. I just thought I needed to stop bad things from happening.
So you've told me that you get really worried when other people are looking after your children, is that right?
Yes, I try to look after them as much as I can, but I've got to go to work. So they go to the nursery twice a week and they go to my mum's once a week. My husband says I'm paranoid,
What are you worried about?
that someone's going to harm them in some way and I won't be there to protect them.
And do you worry when they're at nursery and when they're with your mum?
No, only when they're at the nursery, really.
And why is that?
Well, I trust my mum. She has brought me up and she's always been really protective of me.
So what about the nursery? Do you feel they're not safe there?
No, anyone could harm them and they're only little, so they wouldn't be able to tell me.
So I'm curious, why would you worry about the nursery staff?
Sounds really horrible, doesn't it? Because as far as I know, they haven't done anything wrong.
So where do you think this concern comes from?
I just remember my own experiences when I was in reception. There was this really mean teaching assistant and she used to really scare me. And once, when I refused to tidy up, she pinched me.
That's awful. I'm so sorry that happened to you. What did you do?
I cried and she told me not to be a baby. I didn't tell anyone and I thought if I told my mum, she would get angry with me for not helping tidy up.
So how has that impacted on your own worries about your children?
Well, I don't trust them. If it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone.
Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you, but I'm really worried about it.
What are you worried about?
That I've made a bad decision and I won't like it there.
And have you felt like this before?
Yes, when I moved from my old job to my current job, I felt the same way.
And how did that turn out?
It's been fine. I've really enjoyed my last 5 years with them.
So it seems like moving jobs causes you worry?
Yes, but I don't know why.
So this is really interesting because I remember when we spoke last week and it was straight after the interview, you sounded really excited.
Yes, I was, but then I called my parents to tell them the good news.
And what happened?
Well, they said congratulations and stuff, but then my mum started to ask me questions like, well, what's wrong with your old job? And it sounds like it's a bit different from what you're doing now, and oh, it's a big step up.
And why do you think she said that?
I know she's always looking out for me, but she's always been a worrier.
And has she said things like this before?
Yes, she does that quite a lot, especially when I need to make big decisions. I vaguely remember her saying something like this when I took my last job.
Can you think of any other times?
Yes, I just remember when my boyfriend and I decided to rent a flat out together. She was asking questions like, what are you going to do if it doesn't work out? And how much notice do you need to give?
I just wonder what we can learn from this.
Well, I know my mum loves me, but I think her anxiety affects me sometimes.